Welcome to Lesson 3, and in Lesson 3, we are going to be taking a look at how we can use mouse input. So mouse clicks, mouse is entering the screen, exiting the screen to end up doing something on the computer. Now, if you've been following the assignments along with the videos, you're going to be noticing that we asked you to create a scale. And in scale, what we're looking at here is we create a public variable here, which is called scale. We're going to initialize it at 1 in the initialize method, and then we're going to, inside the paint, we attach it to some object, so it would scale by that size. So in paint, or in this rectangle, it's going to be a 50 by 50 rectangle, and we're just going to constantly make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So if I run this particular program, we should see a square that's right here. Perfect. So we're going to make that bigger when we click. So let's go back into Eclipse, and inside of here we're going to add the mouse listener. Now the mouse listener is what we call an interface, which is very similar to the class, but we're going to have to use the word implements. And it is a relationship, the same way that extends is an applet. So video is a applet. Video example is a mouse listener. Okay? And then when you see this, it's going to ask you to import it. So just hover over it and click import. It's going to deal with all these imports here that are at the top we don't really care about. But it causes another error right over here. Uh-oh. So we're going to do add unimplemented methods here. Perfect. So when we do this, we're going to be noticing that we've created all these really cool methods. We have mouse clicked, which is the action of going up and down on the mouse. Mouse pressed, which is just pressing down. Mouse released is when we let go. Mouse entered is when the mouse cursor enters the screen, and the mouse exited is when it exits the screen. So in this particular video, we're only going to be working with mouse clicked. And let me throw in an example here. So system.out.println, mouse clicked. Now, if you have not seen the println statement before, that's just going to print down here in the console. This is going to be more for debugging our codes. So let me get exit full screen here, and then let's run this. So when I run this, I get this awesome blue screen here. And when I click, nothing happens. Uh-oh! Even though we have these particular methods here, they're not really attached to it. And the reason why is in the initialize method, you have to say that you're going to be using this mouse listener. So we're going to do add mouse listener, and we're going to do this inside the parentheses. This should attach it. So let's run this again. When running it, it pops up, and then I'm going to start clicking. And you're going to notice right down here, every single time I click, it's going to load up another one, which is perfect. So let's actually do something with this. What we can do here is we can do scale plus equals 1. So every single time we click, it's going to increase the screen. But just by increasing scale doesn't repaint the screen every single time. You'll have to call repaint right afterwards. So if you're clicking and this mouse click is going on, but the screen's not updating, most likely you're not calling repaint. So we need to repaint there. We're going to run this again. All right, we click, and every single time we click, this gets a little bit bigger. All right, so we could change this around a little bit. We could use a double instead. So let's say we have a double here. Now this is going to cause an error here, and we're going to do something called casting, and we'll talk a little bit more about casting later. Boom here, and double. Now the casting, what it's going to do is take a double, and we're going to need it to become an integer like it was before. So an integer times a double is an integer. So the idea behind this is that you have a double here, and we need it to be an integer. So after they do this calculation, just turn it into an integer. Same thing here. But it's only temporary an integer. Once we get out of this, it's forgotten and scale is a double again. So instead of having scale go up by 0.1, we're going to have it add by 0.25. When we do this and run this, we're going to notice it jumps in little smaller increments, which is great. Now, another thing that we could do here is whenever we do mouse exited, scale is equal to 1. So it resets it. So let me go over here. And I can click, and I've made it a little bit bigger. Now I exit, and you're not going to notice it because I didn't call repaint. If I come back in and click, it's going to go back to a little bit normal. But if I call repaint here, like I said, it's really important, and it's a very easy thing to forget. So we call repaint here, and then look what we do. We click, boom, 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 boom. We exit, and it goes back to normal. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So you're going to be using this particular thing to make your tree grow, which is very, very similar to what I ended up doing here. So good luck, and I hope you have a good time. Now, my students have been telling me that I need to tell everybody like and subscribe. Do whatever you feel like, but that's what I'm going to say because it's not a YouTube video without actually doing that. So thanks for watching. Good luck.